Welcome back to GearWire.com. I'm Owen O'Malley. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Electro-Harmonix Stereo Memory Man with Hazarai. What's Hazarai is probably the first thing you're going to ask. Well, Hazarai is actually a Yiddish term. It's sort of a portmanteau in Yiddish. It means, the most literal translation of it is pig slop, although it has colloquially come to mean sort of just any kind of general mess, or in a positive light, sort of the works. So this is basically a stereo memory man with a whole bunch of crap. And it really does have a whole bunch of crap in it. It's an echo, it's a multi-tap delay, it also has a flanger and a chorus effect built into it. It has a reverb built into this. It also has a looper, a reverse echo, and you can save everything, all your presets, using this Hazarai button, which also switches between all the effects presets. It is a stereo in and stereo out effect. It is digital, but it is still a pretty warm and awesome sounding effect. In this first video, we're going to take a look at the effects in the echo section. So let's get this thing hooked up. So as you can see, we've got our stereo memory man with Hazarai hooked up to a Fender Blues Junior on the left and a Blackheart BH5 112 on the right. But we're going to be just taking a look at the control panel as we go over this thing. Now the first set of banks, let's just go over the controls along the top. Now they change depending on what bank we're on. So the first bank we're on is the echo bank. There's three different types of effects in the echo bank. You switch between effects and banks using this little white knob, the Hazarai knob. Now when we're in echo mode, our blend control is basically just our dry-wet signal. If we have it all the way to the left here, we've got just a dry signal, and all the way to the right here, it's just the wet signal. We'll keep it in the middle. Decay is actually a reverb that they built into here, separate from the echo. Let's turn this on. We'll take a listen to everything as we go through. Okay. You can hear a little reverb going on there, and our sort of ping-ponging stereo effect. If we take the reverb out, it's just the multi-tap, or rather just the echo. The reverb can get pretty intense. Okay. Our next knob here is the filter knob. Now our filter is going to determine the sound of each successive repeat. We'll turn this back on. If we keep it in the middle, it doesn't change the sound at all of the repeats. They're more or less they're more or less exact copies of what we just played. Now if we bring it all the way to the left, we get a much it's basically a high cut. So it almost simulates, successive tape loop generations. And, if we put it over here, we get a much more treble sound. So that's the filter. Now repeats basically controls how long the effect goes on for. If we have it all the way off here, there's only 3 minimum. Now if we have it all the way on, it just goes almost ad infinitum there. Now our next knob here is our delay knob. You can tap tempo right here with the tap tempo button, but delay is basically just sort of manual direct control, and it's also fun if you want to start sort of playing around with pitch bending effects. Oh, it looks like it doesn't do the pitch bending effects in this mode. Anyway, so that's sort of the first part of the effect, the echo bank. We go to 1 second, and now you can see this is beating faster already. That's basically just changes the delay range, so we get faster repeats. Let's turn our repeats down. If we turn it a little bit towards the dry, we get a kind of cool stereo slapback. And now, the last section here in the echo is called 300 milliseconds plus mod. Okay, so let's bring our repeats sort of, sort of about 30% up. Now, in this mode, the decay button actually now operates as a pitch mod button. And so let's set it all the way up so we can really hear what this effect does. It's almost that flanging effect. And it actually senses when you stop playing and starts to detune or uptune it. So as long as we've got a signal, as long as we've got signal going through, it'll just be that sort of chorusy sound. But once we stop playing, then it actually changes the pitch. Which is pretty friggin' cool, if you ask me. All right, so in our next video, we're going to take a look at the multi-tap section.